Hello, nerds! Thank you for joining me here on Nerd News Clips. This is the second channel. This is the place for all of the short-form content as well as the individual sections and just generally speaking smaller things. If you are into the longer form content, youtube.com/generallynerdy is the place to go see that. With that out of the way, let's get into this. TV streaming, as per usual pretty much, is our biggest section of the episode. This is going to be a lot of the San Diego Comic-Con stuff, and yeah, we have a fair amount of things to get out of the way. So without any further ado, we have things that were launched that not necessarily anything to do with San Diego Comic-Con. Shorsey, actually no, this one was just I finished Shorsey, and it's definitely worth a watch. If you're a Letterkenny fan, go watch Shorsey. Westworld Season 4 has begun. We're about 3 episodes into, or no, I think we're a little bit deeper than that. I'm still trying to catch up. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind. Orville Season 3 is phenomenal. I think that has come to its conclusion. And American Horror Stories, we are waiting on the 3rd episode for that as I film today's episode. So that is the things that have come out that we've been talking about. And then let's get into some San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So we have Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action movie. It has some casting stuff that we're going to talk about real quick. I'm going to mispronounce this name. I apologize. Utkarsh Ambudkar. Wow, I, again, apologize for butchering that name. Who was in Free Guy. Has been cast as King Boomy. He joins Rainbow Dickerson as Kaya, Katara, and Ahsoka's mother. James C. will reprise his role as the Cabbage Merchant. Community and Mythic Quest actor Danny Pudi will be the mechanic. Gordon Cormier as Avatar Ong. Another name I'm going to mispronounce, and I apologize. Kia Wentio Tarbell as Katara, Ian Owsley as Sokka, Dallas Liu as Zuko, Paul Soon Hyung Lee as Uncle Iroh, and Daniel Day Kim, wow, words, I know Daniel Day Kim's name, as series villain Firelord Ozai. That is the casting as it stands right now for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Next, we have Rick and Morty. Season 6 will be launching in September. Secret Wars will, in fact, be a crossover event. We actually learned this since San Diego Comic-Con, but we know that Secret Wars is going to be a series and then is also going to be a capstone movie for Phase 6, I believe it was. And then I Am Groot, we know, is going to be an anthology series and is a great little trailer to go watch just because Groot is wonderful. And the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special that we've been keeping tabs on, we now know from San Diego Comic-Con is going to be the capstone for, or not the capstone, the epilogue for Phase 4 of the MCU. So it's not going to be in Phase 4 proper, but it's going to kind of bridge the gap between Phase 4 and Phase 5. Yeah, so trailers. We have, like I said, a whole bunch of trailers came out from San Diego Comic-Con. We're not going to be talking about all of them, just the larger ones, and yeah, a couple that have come out since. So Lock and Key Season 3, final season, will be coming out August 10th. The trailer has hit now. It does come from San Diego Comic-Con. Just noteworthy because this is the final season of this. It started out great, not as great these days, but still pretty good series. And then this is the one that we had to come to, and that is Interview with the Vampire. Interview with the Vampire, we got our first proper trailer, not just a teaser, but an actual trailer for the series. We're going to start with the release date. It does come out October 2nd is when they will start airing episodes on AMC, and from what I can see in this trailer, it is just as bad as we were anticipating. This, the changing of Louis does not necessarily change Louis. Does that make sense? They race swapped Louis, which is, you know, it is what it is, as long as you then take the historical precedent of the time when the story takes place, and you have to change who that character is fundamentally. because a black man back in the time that this book takes place initially would not have really been as successful as Louis is in the original story. So you have to create new dynamics for a character, which would be fine if that was the direction they were going, but it doesn't seem to be the case necessarily. It seems that he's still pretty affluent and just a number of things that, again, is kind of minor as long as they can still tell good stories. And I know the actors involved. I'm not recalling names off the top of my head, but the Grey Worm who plays Louis, he's a great actor, so I'm really hoping that his performance is going to make up for some of the historical inaccuracies. And I know it's silly to be looking at historical inaccuracies for a show about vampires, but that's kind of the way it was written when Anne Rice wrote it, was, you know, this is the way of life back then, and this is how vampires fit into that way of life. So if you're fundamentally changing the way of life, it kind of creates a disconnect that I don't think they're anticipating, but is going to happen. And then, oh God, Claudia. Oh no. Just the very little we get from her in this trailer seems like they are approaching this character in all kinds of strange ways that I hope actually end up making sense in the series, but I'm honestly not holding my breath. So that's what we've got for the little bit of Interview with the Vampire that we got in this trailer. Let's move on now to the Andor trailer that didn't technically launch at San Diego Comic-Con, but we now know that it's been pushed back by about a month, and when it does launch, the first release day is going to see the release of 3 episodes, one-upping Obi-Wan, because apparently they just keep getting behind on themselves. So instead of releasing them once a week, because it's not a full month, so the 3 episodes that we would have gotten by the time it actually launches are going to be the 3 episodes that they launch with. So I don't see why they had to push it back, but apparently they felt it was necessary. The trailer looks fantastic, but at this point with Disney Star Wars, I'm not holding my breath. I'm really not waiting with any sort of rapt anticipation for this to be an exceptional series. Could it still be an exceptional series? Absolutely. I do not deny that is a possibility. I've been burned a couple too many times at this point to say out the gate that I think it's going to be as such. So that's what we've got there. And then we got the Cyberpunk Edge Runners proper trailer as well, which this looks like a lot of fun. Cyberpunk 2077 is still a game I have not yet played, but I do really love cyberpunk literature, i.e. William Gibson. Basically anything he's done is very much heavily borrowed from this as far as the imagery and the storytelling and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm definitely down for anything that's even halfway competent for cyberpunk subject matter, and being as this is based on a very successful game that I believe I will enjoy once I finally play it. I'm very excited about this, so go check out that trailer as well. That's what we have for trailers. Let's get into news. We have the official announcement for the Arrowverse. The Flash is going to be coming to an end with Season 9. And not only that, but Season 9 is going to be cut in half. Instead of the regular 23 episodes, it is going to be only 13 episodes. And this will effectively, like I said, end the Arrowverse. This is the last surviving series that still exists in that universe. The Berlanti-verse is, I think, is a little bit more appropriate because Arrow hasn't been on the air for 3 years at this point, 4 years maybe. So yeah, time for it to go, I'm sure. 9 seasons of this is a good run by any metric, so I'm excited for the end and excited to see what happens next when we get the Lois and Clark universe, because that's effectively what's going on right now. Is the Superman and Lois series that's on CW right now is in a different universe that may or may not actually tie into whatever movie universe they're starting to cook up. So very interested to see what happens for DC in the near future. And then we have a downer piece that we have to talk about real quick. Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Uhura in the original Star Trek series, has passed away at the age of 89. It was announced that she did pass of natural causes. And this is just... I had the privilege of covering a Starfest, one of the Denver Comic-Con things. And she was there, and she was super, super nice. She was. I didn't get to interview her, sadly, but from all of the accounts of those that did, she was pretty awesome and a great lady to be around. And everybody who has worked with her has come out. We have George Takei, William Shatner have both come out and said wonderful things about her life and working with her and who she was as a person. So this is a bit of a sad day in the Star Trek universe. So we're going to take a moment and just remember Lieutenant Uhura, Nichelle Nichols, and yeah, we'll... So coming out of that, I said I don't want to end things with downer notes. So that's basically in the middle of this section. Next, we're talking about The Penguin. We now have confirmation that this is going to be happening. It is coming to HBO Max. It's going to be a series. Colin Farrell is going to be reprising his role as the titular character, but some things are a little bit different. First of all, Matt Reeves is not going to be the showrunner. He is going to be a producer along with the scriptwriter for his Batman movie. So they're going to be producing. Reeves will also not be directing or anything. He's only going to be a producer. The head writer and showrunner, so director for, I would imagine, a fair amount of these episodes, is going to be Lauren Lefranc. She will be the one that she is the one that they are bringing in to lead this show, presumably while Reeves moves along with the movies. So interesting, pretty fun. That's all we've got, so we're moving on. Next, we're talking about Max Headroom, something that I don't know that a whole lot of people are going to remember, but some of you out there are going to remember. Max Headroom was a bit of a meme before memes were a thing. He is a character that was created in the 80s. He had it was a made-for-TV movie in England, in the UK, that then got a series in the UK, that then got a series in the States, and then he became such a pop culture icon in the States that they basically used him in marketing for like restaurants and toys, and just kind of was ubiquitous with the mid to late 80s and into the early 90s. Apparently he's coming back. He's getting a new series. They are going to be bringing the actor back who played Max inside that little television. It's going to be coming to AMC. The actor's name is Frewer. Who also presumably is going to be returning to play the living person who creates Max in the fictional world. That person's name is Edison Carter. That's all we really know right now, assuming this gets any further in development, because like I said, it's pretty obscure at this point. But assuming this gets any further into development, we will definitely be keeping tabs there. Our next piece has to do with The Boys. Season 4 we know is well underway as far as the writing and early stages of production go. We now have word that we're going to be seeing Ryan, Homelander's son. The actor who plays him, Cameron Corvetti, has been raised to a series regular. So he's going to be in most of the episodes for season 4. There's also going to be an increase of superhero parodies in the next season, but that's kind of to be expected. The big piece here is that Ryan is going to factor heavily into the story for season 4, which seems pretty awesome. I'm very intrigued by this. I'm very, very intrigued by this. That is all we have for regular old news, though. So let's move into suggestions. This week's suggestion, again, is the Orville Season 3. Actually, all 3 seasons of the Orville. If you haven't watched it and you like science fiction, even kind of, or if you're a big Star Trek fan, the Orville is the best thing Star Trek-wise that I've seen in, honestly, a long, long time. It's not Trek proper, but it's amazing, and it's very much Trek light, or Trek-like, I guess is probably more appropriate. Just Seth MacFarlane is doing fantastic and just keeps getting better. Now that he has a bigger budget and he's working on Hulu, he's not just sitting on that. He's doing something with it. And this is wonderful. Put your politics aside because it kind of floats the line on the politics issue. So it definitely, if you can look past some minor issues as far as politics go, this is one of, if not the best science fiction show on streaming or episodic content at all right now. Go check it out. Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long-form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.